Well, here I am, and I am in my house to start with because I want to show you the sweet potato slips that I started um, by a video I watched from the MI Gardener. And I got organic sweet potatoes, put them in some good soil, potting soil, and put them in the dark, and they're doing okay. I'm not sure if I did something wrong or not. They don't look great, so let's take a look. Okay, so you can see they're starting to come up. And I think I might have made a boo-boo because this one, it wasn't doing anything, so I pulled it up and there are roots underneath. And so I don't know if I destroyed everything or not. But here is the situation as it stands. And really in a week, I plan to put these out. So I don't know if this is something that's going to work out. We're just going to have to see. It's a beautiful day out here in northern Ohio. Probably going to be close to 80 today, which is a little bit, I don't know, kind of out of season, maybe a little bit for May. It is close to the end of May though. So I want to start with here in my garden. We're going to do just a journey through the garden, but I just want to show you this huge ant hill. It doesn't look much like a hill, but you can see the ants moving about. This is actually where I had my butterfly bush planted. And it was never a really tall butterfly bush, but it was doing better until this year. And and I will show you that later, I transplanted it. But I thought, I wonder if the ants has something to do with it. And I have done a little bit of research and found out they can cause problems with the roots of shrubs and things. So as opposed to hurting the ants, which I don't like them in my house, but not too worried out here, I'm just going to transplant my bush, which I did. I also purchased another one because I wasn't sure if that one would make it. Let's go over here now to the greenhouse where I started my seedlings inside a while back, and I have now put them in the greenhouse, all of them, the peppers and the tomatoes. So we'll see how they're looking. They seem to be doing quite well, actually. See what you think. Okay, so we'll start here with some of my peppers, which I actually just brought out this weekend. And I also have some from my friend, and I'll talk a little bit more about my friend Linda, who had surgery and she's just not able to do her garden this year as she wanted to. So she asked me to plant them. So we're going to have Linda's garden here this year. And hopefully next year she'll be back and can do her own garden. But that'll be fun also, a fun project. But these are, oops, sorry, that was a greenhouse door slamming. These are looking really good. These tomatoes, I brought them out some time ago. Was it a week ago? 2 weeks ago. This one is one that my son actually gave me. This is an Amish paste, and he started his super early under grow lights. And so anyway, this is this monster, which will go in the garden as well. And I have various other plants to go out, some herbs here that I purchased. My figs look great this year. I took them inside, so they did well over the winter time. And my asparagus did not make it that I had wanted to grow for my kids. Started the asparagus back there, so I hope that will do well. And I also started some ginger. Hopefully we'll get a little bit better production this year. And some pawpaws. I had a bunch of seeds. As if you look back at a previous video, I had tested a pawpaw from my neighbor. I did keep those in the refrigerator over winter and just recently planted them out. I have 12 of them. We'll see if anything comes up. The little stuff that's coming up in there now is not pawpaw, but we will see. And maybe I could give a couple of these away if anybody's interested, if they come up. But while I'm on that subject, if you like videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I appreciate that so much. So on with the tour. Okay, just gonna go through the whole yard. It's a tiny homestead, so you won't be here too long with me. This is some strawberries that I'm going to show you that I got from my son. They I don't feel like the strawberries are doing very well this year. I am ordering some more that I think are more do better in my zone. So I have those coming, but for this year, we'll see how they do. We just kind of put in Old Barrel, and they did produce some last year. A quick aside. You may have noticed that we live pretty close to the road here. We are in the country, but we are pretty close to the road. In fact, very close to the road. You can see there's the road. There's my house. And it's not that much traffic, so you don't feel like you're in the city or anything like that. But sometimes, and I don't know if this has happened to you, but I will be out talking to my plants, and this happened today. And one of the neighbors was running by, literally running, and heard me talking to my plants. It was very interesting. I think he got a kick out of it. Or maybe he'll just think I'm crazy. One of those. Anyway, so it's not the first time it's happened. I was talking to a hummingbird one day, and a neighbor came by also. So that's all very interesting. Okay, enough of that. On with the tour. So this is the bed, mostly of lettuces and things. We have some arugula. These were planted back in late April. We have several varieties of lettuce. As I begin to harvest them, I'll let you know what they are. I'm a little, I don't know, I'm a little disconcerted this year because some of my vegetables, I don't know if it has to do with the weather, but are not doing as well as I had hoped. I'm a little surprised the lettuce isn't doing better. Maybe I'm just impatient this year. That could also be me. But I'm really amazed by this sorrel, which I planted last year. Bloody Dock. It's a sorrel, and I don't eat it, although I might try it again. But it's just so pretty. And some more lettuce. Just watered this morning, so they're looking a little flat. And spinach, which I think could be better as well. I've had blueberries for 20 years, and they are not, well, let me say, they have never done well. And I figure it's because I don't have acid soil, which is very possible, but I put them in pots and they did pretty good last year. This year, however, something seemed to have gone wrong. I did put some acid on them, some sulfur. I don't know what's going on. So I'm just going to, they're not dead, but you can see the blossoms are there, but they're not leafing out. I find that very strange. We're going to head down the hill here. And also, we live close to the road, and we have also a property that is on a hill. So this is very interesting. When people come here, they're like, oh, I love your place. And I wonder if they're just saying that to be nice, and they just like, oh, I really don't like the hill you live on. Because we do have to have gardens that are somehow on a slope. We try to level them out. Some of them we just leave on a slope. I think you've probably noticed that in previous videos. We're going to head down here though to the chickens. A couple things about my chickens. They're the only living animals that I have as far as domesticated animals right now. I didn't talk about this very much. I did have a video that my cat had died in the fall, but this spring our Domino, which is our black lab, we had to have him put down too. So at this moment we're petless, and that's really sad. So I've kind of attached myself a little bit more to my chickens. Probably not a good idea because actually one of my barred rocks passed away last week. It died. We sometimes just don't understand what happened. But we did move the chicken run to a different location. I want to show you this. I had a previous video that showed where we moved it. And this is the new run. They come out of the coop over there. And then come along here. And this is the new run. It's not a new run. Like I said, it's just rebuilt here in this location. So it seems to be doing well. We are making this old run area into a garden. Of course, a lot of people are saying, no, you shouldn't do that because of the fact that it was a run and it probably has pretty fresh manure in it. But others have told me that, yeah, you put some compost on it. It's been diluted with the rain. So that's also okay to do, and it shouldn't be a problem. So time will tell. Okay, on to the next place. Some of these gardens have not been planted out yet. I am one of those people, and I mentioned this previously, that I will not do anything until Memorial Day as far as tender plants, tomatoes, peppers, squash, those sorts of things, because I just don't trust it. And we had a frost last week. And so I think we're also possibly having another one this week at some point. Don't know. But I have not planted anything. I did have some lavender that I did plant in this bed. And the reason I planted lavender here is because I heard that lavender is really good as a companion plant to zucchini, which is what I plan to put here. We did not have any zucchini. Hoping that maybe this will help with pollination with a zucchini and see if we can get something this year. And then over here is my strawberry bed, my old strawberry bed. And this one is not doing well this year. Like I said, it is also old. And so we are going to plant some new strawberries there. We have a few blossoms. You might be able to see that, just a few. Don't expect much this year. Probably going to have to go to the Amish, which I normally do anyway because they have just an abundance of strawberries. We have a lot of Amish people around here and delicious strawberries, so I'll be going there. Now then, this is a raspberry patch, which is doing quite well, the red raspberries. And I planted a few more that our son gave us. They're the small ones down in here. I do also, there they are. I also have another one right there. I believe you can see it. I think it's a yellow raspberry. I'm not sure. They bought it last year and we had two. One did not survive. And then, of course, there's these. Down further is our blackberry patch. So they're looking pretty good. I didn't think they were going to make it. They were looking kind of scrawny. I think my problem this year is I'm just really exceptionally impatient. I don't know why I'm so impatient this year. I don't know what that's about, but I feel like I am thinking things need to be growing faster than they should be and emerging from the ground faster than they should be. And I just think that's my problem this year. So we'll go over the bridge here. Oh, real quick, behind me, let's see if you can see behind me. There's the tiny house. We're all going to do a tiny house tour before long. You can see it. Can't see it very well. My husband did put that tiny house up. It's really fun. Also behind me is a trellis. You can just barely see it. And it is going to have a climbing rose on it. I have questions about climbing roses. I've never been a rose person, although I do have old-fashioned ones, a few of them. But this climbing rose is like it dies back. Is it supposed to not die back? I don't really know. But it's like it's starting over. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. These are my currants. We put some compost on them. They seem to be doing pretty well this year. I may have to cover them with some netting because the birds will get after them. I am really concerned because the last few years have not been good for them. Hoping this is a better year. We actually, a few years ago, had such a great harvest that we were able to make some raspberry currant jam. So good. And I actually have one I still keep because I'm afraid I'll never get it again. But we'll just see what happens with that. We really would like some more currants and have some currant jam. Delicious. And then over here, oh, I left my eggs out. I picked up this morning in there. Just a couple eggs. This is another garden that will be mostly beans, not planted yet. This one next up the hill, you can see our terrace garden in here. Like I said, we are on a hill, and up top would be tomatoes. So this will be peppers. Way up top will be tomatoes. So this is basically an ornamental garden. Just lots of pretty things. It was a much bigger, I cut it in half so we could put the terrace gardening over here for vegetables. But we do have still quite a bit of bee balm, red bee balm, some phlox. We do also have some lilies in there. It's a teeny tiny pond I have here. It's just one before I had my bigger pond, just because I love frogs and I love water. And over here is going to be our sweet potatoes, if we can get that going. This is one crop that is doing pretty well. I can't believe it. Our potatoes, we planted those in April. They are looking lovely, absolutely lovely. And this is the first year I think that the potatoes have done this well. These are white potatoes. And there's the pond. I'm going to get out there and do a little bit of skimming of this pond. I'm going to do a video on a skimmer that I'm going to create, and we're going to have fun with that together. And also, a little disappointed here with the peas. Not sure what that's about. Very few coming up. I think maybe the peas are old seeds. Not sure about that. They should be way bigger than this. They were planted in April as well. Garlic's doing pretty good. And of course, Jerusalem or sunchokes. My husband says, why do you even keep those? We don't eat them because, you know, they cause a lot of problems with, you know, intestinally speaking. If you prepare them right, you won't have a problem. However, they're very pretty when they bloom. They are like they are a sunflower family, so they're quite lovely. And then up here will be this will be butternut squash and cucumbers. So up on this in this garden, and those will be this coming weekend as well. Okay, up the hill. One thing about living on a hill is you get a lot of exercise. That's a good thing, right? We're going to come through here. Secret garden. And we're back to the front of the house, the side actually. This year, we put brassica protection here on them. It's just these hoops, which are like a water line, and just a fine netting that allows the light through and also allows water through, but it does not allow the cabbage butterflies through, which is what causes a lot of the problems with brassicas. But the beets are not doing well. They aren't coming up. I did a second planting because they weren't coming up. Very few. Parsnips I'm not concerned about as much because I do know that parsnips are slower to germinate. However, this one is from last year. This guy, he's big because he overwintered. Just left in because it's kind of cool. And then the radishes, though, are doing quite well. So I'm pretty happy about the radish situation there. Now, we have another one over here. And this one, so this other garden with brassicas has kohlrabi. I had 2 rows, but I think my husband might have taken out one of my stakes because he was putting this hoop on. But anyway, there should be 3 rows actually of kohlrabi in here. That's just a volunteer kale back in there. And surprisingly, the cabbage is doing quite well. So I'm pretty happy with the cabbage. So I'm trying to be patient, Asparagus needs another year before we can harvest that, but it does look really good this year. And this is my leek bed. These 2 rows of leeks. Did replant those due to impatience as well, and I'm so hoping that they make it. We've had such a good harvest the last couple of years and really would like to see that again. And this, as I think I mentioned possibly, is a whole street row, call it a road row, I don't know, flowers all along. We're going to put bachelor buttons, cosmos zinnias, and here in front of this garden, I am planting marigolds. Some are already volunteering, which is very exciting. So that's cool. And then over here, we have our black raspberries. I wish I'd taken a video of this lilac. It was so lovely this year. It's a French lilac, and it was just gorgeous. If I got a picture of it, or my husband did, I'll attach that. This is another blueberry that seems to be doing better than the other ones, although it's much, much smaller. Raspberry. This is a black raspberry, I think. Don't know why it continues to come up here. I don't know what happened there. But the rest of them are also looking really good. Very happy with those. And then as we turn around, there's a fence garden here. And this is my butterfly bush that I told you about that was by the anthill, and a little bit of green on it, if you can see that. Just replanted it here to see if it will even survive. This is the butterfly bush that I bought so I could actually have one. So hopefully that will do well there. Just a lot of flowers out front here. Have a butterfly weed coming up there, which is really not where I thought it would be, but there it is. This is all Love in the Mist. It's basically a weed, but it's just so pretty. It's blue. It's just beautiful. And it actually is getting ready to bloom. Can you see that? I do have a winterberry bushes, a male and a female here. I would like to get some of the winterberries. They are in the holly family, but they're a deciduous holly, not evergreen. And I'll talk more about those in another video, I think, because I think it's really an experiment for me. I've never grown them before. I just thought they had such pretty berries in the fall. And then, of course, you can use them to decorate just as you can with the evergreen. A little bit different because you don't get the leaves, but just the berries. Anyway, as for another time. This is just all of my flowers out front. And then we have 2 grapevines on either side of this trellis. We have Concord and we have a white variety, and I cannot remember what variety of white this is. So not a lot of sun. That's the other thing in our yard. You might say, why don't you just move, Stephanie? You're close to the road. You're on a hill. You don't have much sun. How are you gardening? I don't know. It's just a challenge. But I will tell you, we have thought about moving for the purpose of more property and for a better situation with gardening area. But you know what? Right now we're not moving. We've got other things going on. So we're just enjoying what we have here. It's pretty. I'm thankful. God has been so good to us. Really. I just can't even tell you. And so right now there's no plans on moving. We'll just we'll be challenged here, and we'll share what we are doing, what we grow, and hopefully you're enjoying watching the videos. And I do hope you like and subscribe. And until we see you next time, don't forget to stay rooted. Bye-bye.